Welcome to The Explainer. So, what do Airbnb, Dropbox, and PayPal all have in common? Well, they all kick things off with a single, kind of weird marketing breakthrough. Today, we're going to distill those legendary tactics and the modern systems that power them into a set of strategies you can actually use, like right now. You know, the biggest challenge for any marketer or creator isn't a lack of information. It's the exact opposite, right? The real challenge is trying to find those powerful, game-changing signals in all of that noise. And that's exactly what we've done for you here. Think of this as a journey, a trip through the evolution of growth. We're going to start with the scrappy hustle that builds empires, and we'll end up with the automated scale that keeps them running. All right, here's our roadmap. We'll kick off with the foundational hacks that built iconic companies. Then, we'll move into creating repeatable systems for traffic. After that, we are going to explore the incredible force multipliers of AI, and we'll wrap it all up with some crucial wisdom on telling the difference between a smart tactic and a dangerous trap.
Okay, first up, legendary growth hacks. Let's dive into how some of the biggest companies we all know and use today started with, well, basically nothing but a few brilliant, totally unconventional ideas.
So Airbnb's early tactics were completely unscalable, and honestly, that was their superpower. They had zero marketing budget, so they just piggybacked on a big design conference to get their first ever users. But the best example of their hustle? They literally designed and sold presidential-themed cereal boxes.
And that cereal idea, as totally bizarre as it sounds, it actually worked. They created Obama O's and Cap McCain's and sold them as collector's items. It raised $30,000 in crucial seed money. But more importantly, it got them noticed by the legendary investor Paul Graham. It proved they'd do whatever it took to make it.
And this is just a brilliant illustration of how to validate an idea and build an audience with almost no resources. Dropbox made a simple little demo video showing how the product was going to work and just shared it on a tech forum. The response was insane. It jumped to 75,000 signups, basically overnight. They built a massive audience before they'd even written a single line of production code.
And then, of course, there's PayPal. This simple psychological insight, literally paying new customers $10 to join and then another $10 for every friend they referred, became a legendary growth engine. I know it sounds expensive, but it fueled 7 to 10% growth every single day. It just proves that sometimes the simplest ideas really are the most powerful ones.
Okay, so those creative hacks are awesome, but how do you turn these one-off wins into a predictable system? Well, that brings us to the modern traffic engine, a way to generate growth consistently. Now, this is a perfect example of a repeatable system. For anyone selling on Etsy, this isn't some secret one-off trick. It's a playbook for giving the Etsy algorithm exactly what it's looking for. By grouping your products using shop sections for keywords and building out a targeted portfolio of listings, you're not just making a product page, you're building a machine. But what happens when your whole system breaks? I mean, this is the incredible comeback story of a site, housefresh.com, that was just completely wiped out by a Google update. Their traffic tanked from 51,000 a month down to just 1,000. For most people, that would be game over.
But just look at this chart. The comeback was absolutely staggering. They didn't just get their old traffic back, they blew past it, soaring to 200,000 clicks a month. So, how'd they do it?
So here's the crucial point. They realized their mistake wasn't some little technical SEO error. It was that they were relying way too much on just one channel. The real recovery came from building a real brand, improving the site's design, and creating genuine value for users. That sent all the right signals to Google, proving that a strong brand is the ultimate defense and the ultimate growth driver.
Okay, now let's talk about the ultimate force multiplier. How can AI take these principles of hustle and system building and just amplify them by 1,000 times?
You know, the biggest shift AI brings is just speed. The amount of time it takes to go from a cool idea to a fully implemented strategy is just collapsing. What used to take weeks of training and development can now be prototyped and launched in a matter of minutes. It's kind of wild. I mean, just look at what's possible now. These are all tasks that just a couple of years ago would have required entire teams of specialists, videographers, developers, graphic designers. Now, all of this is accessible to a single person with a single tool. And this isn't just about creating a piece of content a little bit faster. We're talking about automating complex, strategic work. Tools like this can analyze discussions on Reddit to find untapped market needs, do advanced keyword research, and even code fully functional web apps based on your idea.
It's like having an entire agency in a box. But with all this incredible power comes a lot of responsibility, which brings us to our final and maybe our most important section, developing the wisdom to see the difference between a smart, sustainable tactic and a dangerous, short-sighted trap.
First, let's look at the smart tactics. For a new service business, these are simple, super low-cost ways to get real leads just by being genuinely helpful and reducing friction for your customers. Making your phone number obvious, putting a form on every page, these aren't really tricks. They're just good user experience that also happens to drive business.
Okay, now for the flip side. There's this really popular so-called secret SEO tactic that promises you quick ranking boosts. And you know what? It often works, for a little while. But it's a trap, and it can completely destroy your business. Let's look at the critical difference.
On one side, you have something called CTR manipulation, basically sending fake bot traffic to your site to try and trick Google. This poisons your data, it tanks your actual user engagement metrics, and eventually it leads to a catastrophic penalty. On the other side, you have just running real engagement by creating a great site. One is a shortcut right off a cliff, the other is the only real path to long-term success.
And that really brings us back to the true definition of growth hacking. See, it's not about cheating the system. It's about ingenuity. It's about finding that authentic signal and amplifying it. Whether you do that by selling cereal, building smart systems, or leveraging powerful AI.
So here's the main takeaway from all this. The tools, they're always going to change, from cereal boxes to AI. But the fundamental principle is absolutely timeless. Great marketing isn't about creating noise. It's about creating real value, and then finding the most ingenious way to connect that value to people. We've covered a ton here, from cereal boxes to AI-powered agencies. We've basically just armed you with a whole new toolkit of ideas and, yeah, some cautionary tales too. Now the only question left is, which one of these tools are you going to pick up first to go build something amazing?